sender. So the sender and the receiver are called communicators. Okay? Then next is the slang. Slang refers to words that are particular to a group or a context or time period. So slang is less formal and suggests creative play with language. So your generation is very fond of this, no? The slang. So can you give me example of slang words?
Jejimon.
Kinda. Oh, kinda. So for English, no? Chorva. Okay, that's your less formal. Okay. So that is slang, no? Neologisms. These are newly used words. Okay, so the words that are newly used and borrowed and changing the structure. Okay, can you give me an example of neologisms? Borrowed words. Newly used words. Can you give me? Who can give me an example of neologisms? Mga borrowed words. One example is the word bundok, no? Bundok, originally that is in Filipino, which means mountain. But now the word bundok, but the spelling is B-O-O-N-D-O-C-K, is adapted, no, from the bundok, which meaning a pile of like bundok of papers. Okay, mansplain. What is that mansplain, Erica?
From the
Google Doc, mansplain. It combines mans and explain po do.
Okay. So newly coined words, no, or newly used words. What else? Can give another example. Smog. Okay, that is from smoke and fog. Yeah, webinar. Okay, branch. Okay, so these are sport. These are examples of neologisms. Okay, next is so the person or the proponents now that explain about the communication are Shannon and Weaver. They created a model of communication and they called it Shannon and Weaver model from their family name, no? Claude Elwood Shannon, an American mathematician, and Warren Weaver, who is a scientist. So these two, in their model of communication, they explain that the message starts from the person who has the information. Again, what is the name of that person who starts communication?
Sender.
Okay, the sender. Okay. So this Shannon and Weaver model of communication is considered one of the simplest models of communication because feedback is absent. Okay, in this model, feedback is absent. So these are the different models now of communication. Another model is the active model. Okay, so in this model are tools, the source of the message and the recipient. So the source is the sender and the recipient is the receiver. So according to interactive model, both participants send and receive messages or feedback from the other.
Yes, interactive na.
So therefore, in interactive model, feedback is important. So in the Shannon and Weaver model, feedback is absent. But in the interactive model, so from the word interactive, meaning there is an interaction between the sender or the source of the message and the recipient. So feedback is important in interactive model. The next model is the transactional model. So in this model, speaker and the recipient are considered both sender and receiver because it assumes that communication. Hello?
Ang slide ni mo, ma'am.
Yes, wala sa inyo?
Ay, sorry mo, ma'am.
Wala siya nag-move?
Karon lang, ma'am.
Karon lang po, ma'am.
Ay, hindi siya mag-move kung gikuan siya, the current slide.
Oo, di yun siya mamag.
Okay. So the transactional model, in the transactional model, the speaker and the recipient are considered both, no? So the speaker is the sender and the recipient is the receiver. So it assumes that communication is concurrent. Communication participants are not labeled as senders and receivers, but they are labeled as communicators in the transactional model. The sender and the receiver are called communicators. How about that? Nag-move ba ang slide?
Yes, Doc.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next is the Laswell's model. The proponent of Laswell model is Harold Laswell's. So his model of communication is referred to as the 5 W's. So the what, the who, the where, the why, and the when. So this model has been extensively used, particularly when dealing with change. So according to Laswell, addressing the 5 W's or the 5 questions, no? The what, the who, and the where, the when, and the why, is essential element of all communication. So those are the different models of communication. Another concepts which are important in purposive communication is ethical communication. This refers to all relevant information, is true in every sense, and is not deceptive in any way. So, unethical communication is the opposite of ethical. So when we say unethical, this includes misleading information, falsehoods, or exclusion of important information. So when we say ethical communication, it's about communication observing the ethics, while unethical is referring to misleading information, false information, falsehoods, or exclusions. Okay, how about that? Nag-move siya, class?
Wala pa, Doc.
Ano man eh?
Wala, Doc. Doc.
Ay, delayed siya. Okay. Another term that is important in purposive communication is culture. Because one of the objective in purposive communication is to understand the multicultural communication. So culture is the lens through which one views the world. Okay? As to how we view the world. It is central to what you see, how you make sense of what you see, and how you express yourself. Okay, that's culture. No? How you interpret, how you behave, or how you express yourself. So that is culture. Cross-cultural communication is the communication between two people or between people having differences in any of the following. Okay? So we can consider cross-cultural communication if they are different in style of working, they are different in terms of age, and the person or the people communicating are having different nationality, different ethnicity, different race, different gender, different sexual orientation. So if the communicators are having this different age, gender, nationality, that communication is called cross-cultural communication. Because when we say you are of different age, different nationality, meaning you came from different cultures. So these are the hindrance of effective communication, or what are the hindrance of effective communication. So one is cultural blindness. Anybody who can read what is cultural blindness?
Wala pa nila
Wala pa nag-move ang slide. Wala pa nag-move ang slide, Doc.
Ay, my goodness. Sorry. How about that?
Okay na, Doc.
Okay. What is cultural blindness?
Ignoring differences and proceeding as though differences did not exist. Doc?
Okay, so it is ignoring, cultural blindness is ignoring differences and proceeding as though differences did not exist. So meaning cultural blindness occurs when the people in a certain community or in a certain group does not acknowledge or do not acknowledge different cultures. Okay, as if they did not notice or differences did not exist. So that is cultural blindness. How about ethnocentrism?
Inability to accept another culture's worldview.
Okay, it is inability to accept another culture's worldview. So when you say ethnocentrism, meaning what is best for you is only your own culture. So you won't appreciate, you won't accept another culture. That is ethnocentrism. Cultural imposition. This is the idea that every person should conform to the majority. So like, what is the majority culture of this particular setting? You don't have the choice, but you have to follow that existing culture. So that is cultural imposition. Kay maklaro ra class kung inani?
Yes, Doc.
Yes, ma'am.
Like kay, kung ako magod siyang from current slide, dili siya mag-move. Kinahalan ko mo balik. Okay, the next term that is also important in purposive communication is media deconstruction. What is media deconstruction, Ellen?
This means examining closely and taking apart media messages to understand how they work.
Okay, so like for example, examining carefully the advertisement on TV or the text in the newspaper so that you will understand. Okay, that is media deconstruction. How about language register? Clarice?
Language register, this refers to the use of language for a particular purpose or in a particular setting that is its level of formality.
Okay, so the use of language for a particular purpose or in a particular setting. So can you still remember what are the different language registers?
No. Kabuluan na yun.
Can you still remember? These are the very formal,
Language history.
casual,
Language.
very informal, or consultative, intimate. Okay? So as to language registers, so one of the register, intimate. One of the register is the frozen register. So frozen register, this is the very formal register, which refers to language that is frozen in time and form. So dili wala na change. So what are examples now of frozen register?
Biblical verses, ma'am.
Very good. Thank you. Biblical verses or prayer, laws, vows, wills, okay, in which Old English is still being used, no? Frozen. It never changed. Okay. Okay, multimodal. This is another term that's important in purposive communication. What do you mean by multi-class? Model from the word modes. No? So when we say multimodal, this is using more than one medium. Okay? More than one mode, more than one medium of expression or communication. Okay, so that is multimodal. Okay? So verbal communication, this will be effective only if it considers both audible and visible expression when giving presentation. So the verbal communication is effective when we are using audible and visible, no, can be heard and can be seen expression when giving. So verbal communication suggests that speakers do not only consider their ideas and language, such their choice of words, but their bodily expression through gestures and other physical movements. Okay? So it's not only considering their ideas and language, but also their choice of words, the diction, with the body expression or bodily expression and gestures, or through gestures and physical movements, as well as to reflect their thoughts and serve essentials of speech delivery. Okay. The next is the modes of speech. Okay. So when we say modes of speech are impromptu, extemporaneous, in the difference with this four. What is class? Anybody who can describe impromptu?
Reading, I'm speaking.
Yeah. Okay. On the spot, speaking,
Yes.
no, not reading. Meaning, you are only given a short time, not to orchestrate your speech immediately. How about extemporaneous? Prepare.
Limited, ma'am.
Time to prepare, no? You are given time. Yeah, you are given the topic and then given the time to extemporaneous. How about memorize?
Given enough time to recite.
Okay, not only recite but memorize, no, the speech. Okay, so there is really enough time to memorize that speech. And manuscript reading?
Ma'am.
Okay, meaning with the speaker is having a copy while delivering a speech. Okay, so these are the four modes of speaking. Okay, another way of discussion or communication is the group discussion. This is a process where participants exchange ideas express opinions, sentiments, and information, or make arguments on an agreed topic. So there is exchange of ideas among the participants, wherein the participants can freely express their opinions, their sentiments, and information. So that is group discussion. Another way of communicating is the round table discussion. So round table, no, meaning they are into discussion in table. There is no audience. Okay, only the participants are discussing. Only limited participants. No prepared speeches in the round table discussion. No prepared speeches. Whatever will be the discussion, no, everybody can join and speak. Panel discussion. In this type of discussion, audience and chairman is selected. Okay, so just like your panel defense, can you still remember your research defense?
Yes.
Your are panel members, no? In the panel discussion, the audience and the chairman is selected in advance. So it is composed of 4 to 6 informed and interested persons, wherein they will be asked to make up a panel. So the panelists, the panel members are also called as panelists, sit in full view of the audience and carry on conversation among themselves for the audience. So that is panel discussion. Symposium. So in the symposium, there is a moderator and audience, as well as prepared speech of each discussant. And there will be open forum with the bigger venue. Okay, for a while, class, Hana, emergency, for a while, class.
Lolo. Unsa man ang coral? Sabaw.
Ay, Natali, ayaw katulog niya, Natali. Apa kay gati, oy.
Tala, walibon.
Okay, hello class. So let us continue. So in panel discussion, so there is an audience and chairman, no? So wherein 4 to 6 informed and interested persons are asked to make up a panel. Okay, then symposium. In the symposium, there is moderator and audience. So there is prepared speech of each discussant, and there will be open forum with bigger venue. So the symposium is usually held in a bigger venue like gymnasium, wherein there is a large crowd, no, and there are prepared speech of the speakers or discussant. Okay, next debate forum. There will be two opposing sides. So these are the pro and the con views. So what do you mean by pro, class?
Agree, ma'am.
Okay, the
Positive.
the positive side, and the con is the
Negative.
opposite, the negative side. So there will be, in the debate forum, there will be a moderator and members of the judges as well as an audience. So there is a moderator. Then workplace communication. So workplace communication includes types of business writing such as business letter and their parts and styles, application letter, resume, curriculum vitae, biodata, and video resume. So can you explain what is an application letter? What is the purpose of an application letter? Ralph, Emmanuel? What is the purpose of an application letter? Anybody?
For
Okay, so it is used for applying a job. Okay? So the purpose of application letter is to apply for a job. Now what's the difference between resume, curriculum vitae, biodata, and video resume? What is a resume? Natalie?
Ma'am, resume ma'am kay kuan kanang dira ibutang ang mga informations ma'am about sa imong self like birthday unsa imong mga kanang strength and weaknesses ma'am and maraming.
What's the difference between resume, curriculum vitae, and biodata? Like for example, when you will graduate, what are you going to prepare? A resume, a curriculum vitae, or a biodata?
curriculum vitae.
Curriculum vitae, ma'am.
Curriculum vitae, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So the resume, this is the general, no, the general document, no, that can be used by any graduate, any professional. However, the curriculum vitae, the focus of resume are the work experiences and the qualifications. While in the curriculum vitae, this is intended for those who will be applying for teaching position, which focuses on the publications, aside from the qualification of the publications research. Okay, biodata is usually prepared by non-professionals, no, wherein they're only applying or they are applying for a general job. Okay, so if you will be applying online, so you have to prepare video resume. Have you experienced preparing video resume?
Wala pa, ma'am.
Not yet,
Sa
opo.
inyong purposive communication, wala mo gipahimo?
Wala, ma'am.
Wala po.
Oh, sayang. Okay. Next is memorandum. So this form of written communication is composed by one person in the company for another person in the same company. So memorandum is written within the company. Okay? It's being prepared by another person, sent to by one person in the company and sent to another person, but they belong in the same company or the same organization. Okay, next, minutes of the meeting. This is a special report that records the proceedings of the meeting. Have you tried preparing minutes of the meeting? Have you
Yes.
been
Yes,
have
ma'am.
you preparing the meeting?
Yes.
Okay, so if you will be assigned as the secretary of the meeting, you have or you are responsible not to write the minutes of the meeting. Okay, business letter parts. So these are the parts, no? The parts of the letters. The heading, the inside address, the salutation, the body of the letter, the complementary clause, the writer's identification. So can you give me an example of a heading? Heading of the letter. Or what is the content of the heading?
Your address.
Address, ma'am. Mga
Name, ma'am.
Address of whom?
Me.
Name of company.
The receipt.
Sender.
The
Phone
one
number,
who-
ma'am. Email.
Yeah, the one who what?
Receives the letter.
Receives?
Dili.
Ang heading? The one who
No,
sent, the one who wrote,
Then
who
who
writes the letter. The address of the sender of the letter. So that's the heading. The inside address, what's the content of the inside address?
Company address.
Okay, the person who will receive the letter, no, including the name, the designation, the address, and the company, and the address.